Hey, what's up guys? DJ Q here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I've been approaching edits using Serato Flip. I think a lot of DJs are really talking negatively about Flip and thinking that Flip is of no use for them. I mean, a lot of the videos that we've been seeing on Serato's website and in general have been performance based, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about how I'm approaching making edits using Flip. And it's pretty cool because with Flip you can do, at least for me, I've been approaching it using basic edits, not really going too out of the box. It's usually how I approach edits to begin with. So the first thing that is super useful in general when creating a flip and even just setting cue points in Serato is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this Quantize button on the top left hand portion next to the volume slider. But typically when you had to add cue points in Serato, you sort of had to move the waveform, and from there you would place your cue point as accurately as you could. Well, now you can really just blaze through cue points super fast by turning on Quantize, and even if I'm off like just a little bit, it's gonna drop it quantized exactly where it should be. And so typically what I'll do is I'll turn on Quantize, and then I'll set cue points in the intro, maybe 32 bars, 16 bars. It's really determining on how I want to make the edit. But like for this You Sure Do Free Jack song, I'm going to go ahead and set a cue point. Actually, yeah, let's do it here in the beginning. Then break right there, right when the song drops, right there, and then another drop here, and then typically my outro, which looks like it's right here. So right there, did cue points super quick. It's awesome. Quantize, I highly recommend that you use Quantize when adding cue points. It'll just speed up your workflow. Now, actually recording a flip, and this is where I had issues in the beginning until I kind of I read the Serato forums. I can't remember who suggested this, so I'm not claiming this at all. But there's a really quick and easy way to set flips. And so in general, when creating a flip in Serato, it begins by starting a recording from the cue point that you want the flip to begin at. So I want my flip to initiate from this break here in this song, and I'm going to record the cue point action that I want to edit it to. So once I hit the record button and I play the second cue point here, right there, the flip's already recording. Now, the cool thing is that you can actually play a portion, and I'm going to skip to where I would want the song to drop. So I'm essentially doing just a drop edit, nothing crazy. And then I'm going to go ahead and hit this cue point and then play the song. And that's my flip. So I'm going to turn off the recording, turn off looping because you don't want that flip to loop. And so now when we go over the flip, you can hear that it's going to edit it exactly to where I initiated the cue point. Before, my whole understanding was I had to play this whole break and then from there hit the cue point to jump to the next part of the song. Well, you can literally just scrub to where you want to edit and then from there hit that cue point. So Yeah, and right there, it just jumped to my flip, to the cue point that I wanted to edit. So yeah, it's awesome that you don't have to play the whole break and just go to where you would initially hit the cue point. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. I usually like label my flips medium. That usually involves like a break and then dropping into the meat of the song. Now, if I wanted to do like a quick edit, I would start the cue point or the flip here. So right now that flip is on. Let's go ahead and create a new flip by clicking on the empty bank. Okay, so I'm on the first cue point. Go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the record button and play it. Now I don't have to play this whole section, and now I'm gonna drop it to where. So this is where I would initially hit the cue point to. Let's go ahead and try it to this right here. Okay, so then that's my flip. I'll turn off the recording. Turn off looping, that's always super important. And now let's listen. Yeah. So that worked. I will say this doesn't always work with some songs that aren't really transition friendly, but I'd say maybe 8 times out of 10 with the edits that I've been making, it's worked for me. So that in general, that's really how I put together edits using Flip. And one thing that I do want to mention is that I remember, I don't know who made this comment. I think I saw it on Twitter when someone was talking about flips, is that, well, how do I remember what happens in the flip action? Well, I'm not making these overly complicated. They're super simple. They're just jumping, editing either a drop or either going from an intro to a drop. I'm not trying to jump into different portions of the track. That's not to discourage you from not approaching it that way, because if you're being really creative with your flip, by all means do it. But since I'm really just trying to make edits to play out, I'm not really doing any tone play or anything like that. This has worked for me. And another thing is, for some vocal tracks, it doesn't always work, and I will say I would gravitate more towards making a actual edit in Ableton and rendering that out. But yeah, if you're preparing music for the club and you just need to knock out some quick edits, like, this is super useful, and I find myself doing this more than making edits in general. So yeah, that's just a quick overview on how I'm approaching making flips in Serato. Hope this helps you guys out.